The battle against loot boxes has intensified as EA has finally backed down in Belgium, and as of January 31st will be removing the ability to purchase currency for FIFA Ultimate Team to take advantage of the loot boxes in the game. Now there still will be loot boxes in the game, and you will still be able to earn in-game currency to purchase those player packs, but the idea of spending money to get an arbitrary return in a digital space through a gambling method is now dead in Belgium across the board. This obviously will affect FIFA on Nintendo Switch because they do sell Switches in Belgium. There is a FIFA game on there. They do sell currency in that game for the loot box system. So it's really, really interesting to see this. In fact, before I go any further, let's just hear what EA had to say on the matter. After further discussions with the Belgian authorities, we have decided to stop offering FIFA points for sale in Belgium. We're working to make these changes effective in our FIFA console and PC games by January 31st, 2019. This means that players in Belgium will not be able to purchase points to obtain FIFA Ultimate Team packs. Players can still access Ultimate Team and play with their existing players. All content in the game can be earned through gameplay, as has always been the case, and players can continue to use coins and in-game transfer market. Any players in Belgium that have existing FIFA points in their accounts can continue to use them, but they will not be able to purchase more. We apologize to our players in Belgium for any inconvenience caused by this change. We seek to bring choice, fairness, and value, and fun to our players in all our games. In addition to providing players options in how they play, we include pack probabilities in our games for the transparency players want to make informed content choices. While we are taking this action, we do not agree with the Belgian authorities' interpretation of the law, and we continue to seek more clarity on the matter as we go forward. The impact of this change to FIFA Ultimate Team in Belgium is not material to our financial performance. That last line is important more so for investors because EA stock did take a hit today in wake of this announcement, which might not line up with EA's financials because Belgium is probably not a massive territory for them. This isn't like the UK. This isn't, the United States. It's not one of their major territories. It's just one territory. But the reason that this is a big deal, and probably the reason the stocks did take a hit, is the law that is being interpreted by Belgium is a European law. Okay, so it's a law that if Belgium is successfully enforcing it, then other countries might follow suit. How long before France and Germany and other countries adapt this interpretation of the law? How soon before the UK, which whether or not, they are fully separated from Europe or not, decide they want to adapt a version of this law in their country? And how long is it before something like this makes it overseas and potentially ends up in the United States, where there are already several key officials getting together to try to potentially classify loot boxes as a form of gambling, especially the paid variety of loot boxes. This obviously for gamers is mostly a win. Unfortunately for FIFA, at least as it stands today, it's actually going to make Ultimate Team pretty hard to play. I know they talk about how as always, you can earn in-game currency, but without making proper adjustments to how that currency is earned and the frequency at which you can earn it in FIFA Ultimate Team, it basically is going to kill FIFA Ultimate Team in that country. That's just what's going to happen with this year's version. Who knows? Maybe like the version that comes out at the end of this year, maybe they'll have updated currency values and actually make Ultimate Team fun. However, it's doubtful since Ultimate Team's sole point of existing has been the microtransactions and the loot boxes. This has been literally the entire reason they created this Ultimate Team thing in FIFA. Well, what's it now, 15, 20 years ago? It's been a while since they've introduced this. It was one of the first things EA did in terms of doing microtransactions and loot boxes in their games. Again, it literally existed as a form of extra revenue. And if you remove the aspect of earning that revenue, I'm not sure they're going to put a lot of time and effort into making FIFA Ultimate Team a compelling product without the money spending aspect. So unfortunately, there is that negative side where if you really like Ultimate Team, even the idea of the random packs and all that stuff, or even in Madden and other games like that, You're just not going to be able to do that in Belgium anymore. And this could lead to worldwide changes that I think is ultimately going to be wholly positive, because I know, while it might negatively impact one gameplay mode in a game that probably won't get focused any time on it anymore, considering what's happening with loot boxes in Belgium, it still is positive overall for just games across the board. Imagine a reality where the Battlefront 2 situation never existed, right? Where Star Wars Battlefront 2 existed in a world where they weren't even considering loot boxes when they were developing that game. It could have changed everything about the perception of the game, the development of the game, and the quality of the product that came out at launch. But again, we don't live in this reality yet. But this is just more so a big win for gamers in that EA backed down. They backed out. They were about to get hit with a lot of huge fines, and they were trying to argue against the government, and the government has just been holding its ground in Belgium on this interpretation. All the court systems are like, hey, look, this is how we interpret it. Too bad, so sad. Stop doing it or pay huge fines and get in a lot of trouble. And 2K even argued against this last year with NBA in Belgium. They were even telling players, they were pleading with players to go to the local government officials in Belgium and tell them you want to spend money on loot boxes because, gamers actually enjoy loot boxes, right? I mean, there is an aspect of loot boxes I think gamers do enjoy, because what makes loot boxes so addicting is how they hit on your sensors, the sensors you have in your brain that make you addicted to things like gambling. Even without the money aspect, it can be pretty addicting. But when you throw real money into it, now you're impacting people's lives who are not being financially responsible. And NBA 2K19, in that case, the stuff in there is just bad. And that, forget the loot box stuff. They took the My Career mode and basically made it where you have to spend money if you want to get anywhere in that career mode. You need to buy points and coins, and I don't like it. They've kind of ruined the My Career mode doing that, and something like this happening worldwide could potentially make that My Career mode a much better value. Of course, they'll probably just find other ways to piecemeal the game to you and just cut out content and charge it as DLC later to get around this interpretation of the law. But whatever, the point is that I am genuinely happy that this has happened, and I'm hoping that more countries follow suit. I can't wait for the lawsuits and the legislation to get pushed forward in the United States. Obviously, I'm a little bit afraid of government regulating video games per se. Government regulations have not always proven the best in the entertainment industry, but at least it might get to a point where the ESRB and the ESA that currently controls how games are rated anyways, might have to step in and be like, look, instead of you regulating our games, let's create like a new rating that's like, hey, look, if this game has microtransactions and loot boxes, it can't be rated, T or E. It has to be, not even M, it has to be rated like AO or something like that, like a new classification in AO, where that's really going to turn parents off, by the way, if a whole bunch of games start getting AO rating. AO is like seeing that NC-17 or that XXX rating. Parents see that and they think, oh, why is that AO? They see M and they're like, oh, my son's mature enough. They see AO, they're like, what is in this game? At least that's what I've noticed. I remember my parents taking me to the store, and I was looking at an AO game. I can't remember which one it was. But they looked at it and said, why is this AO and nothing else is AO? What is... And then, they asked the clerk and found out like there was some nudity in it or something. So it's just it's an interesting way that the video game industry could be heading in here. So kudos to Belgium for holding their ground against the big corporate entity that might even have more money than the entire country of Belgium. I don't know. But it's good to see a win here for consumers and a win for gamers. And hopefully this leads to positive changes at EA and in other countries trying to block loot boxes and microtransaction like spending in the future, because it is a problem in this industry. It is a problem across the board. Even if you're someone who likes loot boxes or likes microtransactions, there has to be a limit to how this stuff can be implemented, especially in games that are more susceptible to children playing them, like a FIFA or a Madden, where kids are really going to get into those games. And I'm not saying that you can't have, basically it's like, I'm not saying that gambling can't exist, but it has to be heavily restricted to a certain age group. And right now, the restrictions just aren't there. My son can go download any game he wants on his phone right now, and it could be rated for, 3+, and it'll have loot boxes and microtransactions that might require a parent's approval, but I mean, as soon as they figure out the password or whatever, oh, look, approval's there. So it's just a mess, and I really hope that something is done about this from a legal standpoint. So kudos to Belgium, and EA, I'd say I feel bad for you, but I really don't. I think you were due a fat L coming up here. I mean, I know you took a lot of heat and backlash over Battlefront 2, including from Disney. That's what really made you back off, was when Disney's like, why are we hearing bad things about this? Why is it affecting our IP? So, that there was that, but this is the backlash from the consumer level that we've been waiting for. This is the backlash of a government stepping in and being like, look, you're not going to treat people this way. And I'm so happy. I hope, for the first time in a long time, I have hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel to at least restrict how loot boxes and microtransactions can be used in the future. It is a hope that I didn't really have even a year ago, but here we are in 2019, and it always takes that first domino to fall to make anything happen. This feels like the first domino in a long line of dominoes that's going to really make a difference in this gaming industry. Anyways, folks, you guys let me know what you think about this story down in the comments below. Let's try to stay away from some of the more FEA attitudes out there. EA is a for-profit business. That's just what they are. They were doing the things they thought they needed to do to make the most amount of money, and it financially worked for them and made them one of the biggest companies in the entire world, let alone the entire video game industry. So it sucks because, we could talk about the canceled Star Wars games and the closed studios, and ruining Dead Space 3, ruining the end of Mass Effect 3, Andromeda being rushed. We can talk about the zillions of things that EA has done that is bad and anti-consumer, but I don't think an attitude of screw EA or anything like that is really going to solve anything. I think more than anything, we need to start encouraging governments and gamers to stand up against these practices, so EA is forced to conform their games more to a type of standard like Nintendo has, where they don't really hit you with the big microtransactions and loot boxes in their $60 products, so it doesn't really feel that disingenuous, and yet Nintendo can still be a multi-billion-dollar company anyway, so EA could still be just fine. They just won't have all of the money. We need to teach them to be, focus more on game quality to get more people to buy your games, rather than how can they get the people that do buy their games to spend more money. And that is a push that hopefully this is a lot of pressure to put on one country holding EA accountable. But again, the first domino has fallen. Let's see what happens from here. All right, be sure to enter our Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway down in the description below through the Gleam.io link. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Hey, if you enjoy what we do here, I would appreciate you check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. There's a link to that as well into the description. We have a bunch of tiers there, including one that starts at just $1. It gives you access to exclusive rooms on our Discord server, the ability to direct message me, all that great stuff. Your support is why I am able to make these videos every single day. You know what? I think that's it. That's all we got for now. So, good news today. Good news. Catch you guys in the next one.